You made a comment earlier saying that, when Tupac was in the hospital fighting for his life, that was the 6 scariest days of your life. Why you say that?
First, because it was an assassination attempt, right? Second, because we didn't trust anyone and we didn't have ample security for him. We couldn't even get Vegas PD to come keep him secure, right? The third or fourth night, the marketing guy from Death Row was there around 11 o'clock. There might have been an outlaw or two outside in the car, but I was the only person in the ER waiting room. He came up and he said, "Go. They just called the road. They're going to come finish him off." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I felt like I'm in a fucking Scorsese movie. I'm like, "What do you mean they come finish him off?" And he's like, "They're going to come finish him off." And then dude he bounced, right? So I called Yasmin and I was like, "Yasmin, they said they're going to finish him off." And then she's like, "Call Vegas PD." So I called Vegas PD and I'm like, "Yo, they're coming to finish him off. Send the troops. It's Tupac. He's hanging by a thread. We don't have any security." And the chick on the phone at the 911 dispatch said, "Sir, I'll be right back." She went, came back 5 minutes later, and she said, "Unfortunately, we're understaffed right now. If something should happen, there's a foot patrolman in the hospital. Go find him." Right? And I'm thinking, what the fuck is that all about? And then right after I got off the phone, there was a crusty old white security guard sitting in the corner of the ER waiting room laughing. And I'm like, "Why are you laughing?" He's like, "Son, last year there was a white rodeo star broke his leg. They gave him 4 policemen 24/7 and 6 honey wagons for his family to be comfortable." I'm like, this is the #1 rapper in the world right now. And he can't get shit. And then I kind of clocked it. Then I realized we're not fucking safe when there's no one coming to save us. Right? So I started calling some news vans because I'd seen a press conference. I'm like, "We're doing a press conference." Send the van and a guy with a camera and a mic, little blonde chick with a microphone come out. And I'm like, "Where's the news conference?" I'm like, "It's coming, it's coming." They'd last an hour or two and they'd bounce. Then I called the next channel. So I did that for a good half a night, but then that was done, right? Because they realized that there was no news conference going. It was just bro. It was the most unsafe and helpless a situation I've ever seen in my life.
Wow, man. So when Tupac was in the hospital, he was getting death threats. Because I always heard about that, but I always thought they was calling up to the hospital. But they was calling up to death row sending Tupac death threats.
Well, I know I got one of them, and I've heard there were multiple, but that's the only one I got. You know what I mean?
So the one you got, you actually heard that on the phone. You picked up the phone at the hospital.
The marketing guy from Death Row was in the ER waiting room. He ran in, looked around, saw I'm the only one there. He said, They just called the row. They said they're going to come finish him off." Look, we didn't trust anyone. It took a couple days for us to even get a death row security person there. Yasmin Fuller was getting into fights with the hospital administrator. They had him on the first floor, right? And it was University Hospital was one of these like the office buildings where in the daytime it's reflective, you can't see shit, but at night you can see everything. You can get on your fucking tiptoes and see his feet. So I went and got a U-Haul and parked it outside of his room. And it's funny. A couple of people have said Gobi was never at the hospital, which is, I mean, it's just bananas. And I only say that because people remember what they want to remember. And a lot of the history gets rewritten. A lot of what happened gets rewritten. And motherfuckers are revisionists. There's a lot of people online rewriting history because it serves them, right? I don't have any reason not to tell my truth of what I experienced because I owe him. I didn't have a gun, but you better believe a motherfucker came in there, I would have fucking thrown some blows at that motherfucker. I knew how to scrap. I could punch a motherfucker out. So that's the least I could do for Tupac. And it didn't seem like there was anyone other than the outlaws around him. So